A group of kids went to an island for the 4th of July. Every single one of them came home. Everyone except Nolan. And I have been sick about it all week. Not because I know something that you don't, because I don't, but because the shape of this is so familiar and it makes my chest tight. A young black man in a space where he was the only one who looked like him, who does not make it back, and a story that everybody around him seems to have forgotten or gotten a little quiet about. I'm not here to tell you what happened to Nolan Wells. Nobody can tell you that yet. And anybody online swearing that they know is lying to you. What I am here to do is talk about why so many of us looked at this and felt something drop in our stomach before we even read the details. Because we've seen this shape before. We have names for it. And today, we're going to say those names with respect and with our eyes open. So let's get into it. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Indescribable, back with some unfortunate news. It's time to break down this case and what we know about it so far. Here's the part that I can stand on. Nolan was 18 from Ocean Springs, a football player, wide receiver, played at his high school, and had gone on to Southwest Mississippi Community College. By every account from people who actually knew him, coaches, classmates, this was a kind, humble, and well-loved kid. His best friend told a reporter that the last thing Nolan said to him out on that island was that he loved him. Let that sit with you. His last words to his boy were, "I love you." On July 4th, he went out to Horn Island with a group on a small boat. Last confirmed sighting is around 3 in the afternoon. His mother, Christine, reported him missing that night when he didn't come home. And then a search kicked off that pulled in the sheriff, the Coast Guard, Marine sources, the Park Service, and the Volunteer United Cajun Navy. Monday morning, a park ranger found a body in the water on the northwest end of the island. Tuesday, the coroner confirmed through dental records that it was Nolan. His family had already felt it. His mama had already posted the words, "absolutely devastated," before anybody in a uniform said it out loud. That's what we know. A boy went to an island with some people, and he's the only one who did not come home. Now, here's what I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna hand you a cause of death, because the people whose actual job it is have not released one. The autopsy happened, the toxicology is not back, and could take weeks. The sheriff has floated that this may have been a drowning, and that right now they are not treating it as foul play. That is the official posture. Hold it loosely, because official postures on cases that look like this one have a way of shifting. There's also a video circulating with cleaned up audio that people are saying captures some kind of altercation before he disappeared. Investigators are reportedly looking at it. I want to be very clear with you, though. That is not a verified clip. I'm not going to build a theory on top of it, and neither should you. Because if it turns out to be nothing, everybody who ran with it looks reckless, and this family deserves better than our guesses. So if I'm not telling you what happened, then what are we even doing here? We're talking about that feeling. Y'all know the one a whole lot of black folks had instantly. And I want to explain to you why that feeling is not paranoia. It's a memory. So let me say the quiet part out loud. A lot of us grow up being taught that sometimes out loud and sometimes just by watching, being the only black person in an all-white space is a thing you keep one eye open in. Not because every white space is dangerous. That's not what I'm saying. And I need you to hear that. But because when something goes wrong in those spaces, the person who looks like us is the one who tends to end up hurt. And then the one who tends to end up investigated instead of protected. That is not a chip on the shoulder. That is a pattern with a paper trail. And I want to walk you through that paper trail because I don't deal in Instagram videos. I deal with receipts. So let me introduce you to two people that you should know by name. Tamla Horsford. Remember her? November 2018, Forsyth County, Georgia. Now, if you know anything about Forsyth County, you already flinched because that county has one of the ugliest racial histories in the state. In 1912, they ran every black resident out, all of them. And for most of the last century, almost no black families lived there at all. Keep that in your back pocket. Tamla was 40, a mother. She went to an overnight party with a group of women she knew through their son's football league. She was the only black woman there. And the next morning, she was found in the backyard, face down, dead, at the bottom of an elevated deck. The county ruled it an accident, said she fell, said she was intoxicated, case closed in a few months. But her family looked at the injuries and could not make it make sense. A broken neck, bleeding on the brain, a laceration to her heart, a dislocated wrist, cuts on her face and hands and legs. They got a second autopsy. Their attorney said out loud that homicide was a strong possibility. And then it gets worse. And this is the part that should make you sit up a little bit, because the crime scene wasn't properly preserved. The medical examiner took only 5 photos of a body with injuries like that. The lead investigator was later hit with misconduct allegations, including reportedly describing himself in racist terms, and he was quietly allowed to resign instead of facing charges. The outcry got so loud that T.I. and 50 Cent spoke on it. A petition passed 700,000 signatures. The state pulled it back open in 2020. And in 2021, they closed it again. No charges, officially still an accident. Now, I'm not the judge and jury on how Tamla died, but I can tell you the investigation into how she died was a mess. And the person at the center of that mess was the one black woman in the room. That's not me being dramatic. That's the record. Now, the second name is Alonzo Brooks. 2004, Lacine, Kansas. Alonzo was 23. He went to a house party of more than 100 people. He was one of only 3 black people there, and as the night went on, maybe the only one left. Investigators later confirmed that racial slurs were being thrown around at that party. The friends he rode with left without him. He had no way home, and then he simply vanished. Local law enforcement searched, came up empty, and then about a month later, his own family went out and found his body themselves in a creek a few hundred feet from the very house where the party was. The family had to find him, y'all. His own family. The original coroner said he couldn't determine a cause of death. Case went cold for 15 years. Then in 2019, the FBI reopened it. They exhumed his body, brought in the Armed Forces Medical Examiner, some of the best forensic people in the country. And in 2021, they ruled it what a whole lot of people believed from day one: homicide. They are investigating it as a possible hate crime. There's a $100,000 reward on it right now. And still, to this day, nobody has been charged because the people at that party closed ranks and never talked. One of only a few black faces in the room, left with no ride, ends up dead, and a wall of silence from everybody who was there? Does that shape feel familiar to you yet? Here's why I lined those 2 up next to Nolan. I am not telling you that Nolan Wells was murdered. I want that as clear as I can make it. It may turn out to be a genuine heartbreaking accident, and if it does, that is a family drowning in grief, and they will still deserve every ounce of our tenderness. What I'm telling you is that when a young black person dies in a space where they were the only one, there is a pattern in how these cases get handled. The circumstances get labeled an accident fast. The scene doesn't get treated like it matters. The people who were there get quiet, and the grieving family has to fight and raise money and go viral and hire a big name attorney just to get somebody to look. Tamla's people had to do that. Alonzo's people had to literally go find the body, and Nolan's family has already brought in Ben Crump because they know, the same way we know, that attention is the only thing that has ever forced these systems to do the work. That's not distrust for the fun of it. That's a lesson taught by receipts. So what do we actually want here? Not a mob, not a name to go drag. I'm not doing that, and I'm begging you not to do that either. Because if you're wrong, you hurt an innocent person, and you hand the real answer away to get buried. What we want is simple. We want Nolan's case worked all the way through. Toxicology done right. That video actually examined, not waved off. We want everybody who was on that island talked to like it matters. We want the same energy for this 18-year-old black boy that would show up automatically if the missing kid looked different. That's it. That's the whole ask. Do the work. Show us the work. Let his mother have the truth. Because a mother should not have to become an activist to find out how her baby died. I want to leave you where we started, not with a theory, but with a person. Nolan Xavier Wells, called No-No by the people who loved him. A kid whose last words to his best friend were, "I love you." He was humble and kind, the type coaches say they hope walks through the door. 18 years old with a whole life stacked up in front of him that he is never going to get to touch now. So remember his name and not all the hashtags. As a boy who was loved and who was gone too soon, keep his family lifted and keep your eyes on this one, because history is very clear about what happens on these cases when we look away, and very clear about what becomes possible when we don't. I'm going to be following it. So come back and we'll follow it together. So if this video resonated with you, like it, leave me a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know every single time I upload new content. And hopefully I won't be bringing you another story like this anytime soon. I love y'all. Please stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.